Yeah, marvelous. Okay. Yeah, I'm on my Frank Lucas shit. 3-piece suits, Valentino cufflinks, LV shoes. I bring the shorty closer, just enough to feel the gun on the holster. Out on the balcony, feeling on the breeze. City skylines, we're puffing on some trees. Cup of Henny on the rocks with the soda. Maybach, front of the building with the chauffeur. And he waiting on me, got umbrella in his hands and my name in the seats. No gift, baby, no thanks, no chinchillas, baby, so what happened to Frank? No phone calls, transactions hand in hand, give the drugs to Rick, the money to Benny Banks. Talk to Craze and he talks to me, keep my business out the streets, it's the ART.
Welcome to the show. It's our 25th episode. Nobody applaud, nobody cared.
Yeah!
Yes! The show's gonna get canceled.
I love
anyway.
it!
The show's gonna get canceled anyway.
Possibly next
week. Possibly sooner than later.
I thought you quit this shit.
Benny's here.
Yo, what's up? It's me. I'm in the building.
Obviously, his ego is here also.
That's right.
Craze Boogie is here.
I'm not in the building. I'm outside the building.
You outside the
Yeah,
building?
technically we are. And we're joined by the
I don't
very
dig
funny stand-up comedian Andy Haynes.
Let's go.
What's up, everybody?
There you go. There you go.
That was more my applause.
So, welcome to Washington Heights, first of all.
Thank you. It's nice to be in the Heights. I saw the musical.
Actually, Lin-Manuel,
Shout out
he's
Lin-Manuel.
from this exact area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
he actually,
So we might spot him.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
He's probably
hopefully.
here.
might
Is
be
that
back
is
there.
that you, Lin?
Might be back
Lin-Manuel?
there. Might be
No.
back
Shout out Lin-Manuel.
Is
We need a.
is the
Audrey?
Heights anything like the show? Is it what you pictured?
I mean, he just got off the train. It's not like.
Nah.
You didn't see anybody dancing outside?
Yeah, nobody's like dancing while folding laundry or something like that. There was a lot of like laundry lines in it. I feel like. You know.
I think if you come like on a Saturday at 10 a.m., you'll see the folding and the
Okay.
dancing.
Dancing and folding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dancing in their houses, though. They're not dancing outside and singing.
I'll be dancing in the laundromat.
That's cool. I'll look in people's houses.
Or
He's
that.
not
down.
afraid.
Or that.
So Andy, are you originally from New York?
No, I'm from Seattle.
Seattle.
The opposite.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
It's beautiful. out
The
there.
anti-New York.
It's kind of anti. It's very like. It's natural. There's mountains and shit like that.
Yeah.
Trees.
A lot of
Yeah.
rain.
So the
Lot of
greatest thing to come out of Seattle, people are gonna say, is Nirvana and the grunge area.
I thought it was
Would you agree with
Starbucks.
that?
I mean, I like some of that stuff. I mean, Jimi Hendrix is from Seattle. Quincy Jones is
There
from
we go.
Seattle.
Keep on schooling
Bruce
us.
Lee grew up in Seattle.
What?
Bruce Lee?
Nate Robinson's from Seattle.
Wait,
Oh, we
Nate
love
Robinson.
Uh,
The basketball player?
Yeah,
Yeah.
What the?
there's more.
There's more.
Microsoft, Amazon.
Bill Gates is from Seattle?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Wait, I thought it was just the
I thought that was all.
who's the owner of the Seahawks?
Paul Allen. That's his
Paul
homie.
Allen, yeah.
They were high school buddies.
Oh, shit.
You
Holy
see?
shit.
Shout out
Shit,
to we
learn
living in the
something
wrong
fucking
city,
new
wrong
every
state.
day. Yeah.
Although he's dead, I think. Paul Allen. So.
Paul Allen's
R.I.P.
Rest in
Paul
peace.
Allen.
There you go.
Rest in
Yeah.
peace.
Sorry, guys. Sorry to
Can
bring
we-
it down already.
Look that
Yes.
up, please.
Lost in-
I
I
heard
don't
there's a
know.
lot of there's a lot of suicides in
Highest rate in the
Highest-
continental United States.
Why is
Right.
that though?
Yeah.
Like,
No sun. 300 days of rain a year.
Yo.
but
that's
the rain
real.
is tremendous. Like, it helps
No,
me
no, no,
sleep.
no, no,
It's
no, no.
This
beautiful.
isn't that kind of rain.
Soothing.
It's just constant.
No, no,
It's
no.
like a light rain, just constant.
Just like a mist.
And it never snows. It's just like 35 degrees all winter.
It's 35 degrees and raining all winter.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to visit Seattle.
I don't like that.
That
Home of
sounds
the
terrible.
Seattle Mariners, the Seahawks. Are you any
I'm a Seahawks fan. That's
Seahawks? Okay.
You're doing like a fucking
Go Birds.
book report on
I'm
Seattle.
just,
Maui,
I
dog.
personally, I've never been to Seattle. I would like to go to Seattle, actually.
Not
I've never been
anymore.
it. Go in July or August. It's perfect.
Okay.
No humidity, 85 degrees, mountains everywhere. You know, you can do the mountain thing.
So I'm not really like a mountain person per se.
You might find out you are.
Exactly.
I mean, I did
you ever-
climb a mountain in upstate New York with a broken ankle, but that was because I was tricked on climbing the mountain. They were like, yeah, let's go see this nice little view. And then it's like 3 miles up and then 3 miles back.
And your leg was broken?
It wasn't broken. I had just.
I was
sounds
waiting
like a
for that
movie,
part.
right?
Yeah.
We should talk about that more.
Fucking dragged his leg.
So
I'm
I had just.
I'm gonna make
This
it.
is even gonna sound even worse. I had just came from my honeymoon. A week later, I fell in a haunted corn maze in Long Island, and it was super muddy, and my ankle turned the other way.
Wow.
So a month later, they made me climb this mountain, and it was like a really bad snowstorm, and it was icy up there. So coming back down, my leg was trembling, and that's why mountain's not for me. I did go into a Buddhist temple.
Who made you do
Yes.
this?
My
Why
wife,
did you do this?
honey, I love you. My wife and her friend Gail, and Gail's husband Giovanni. So Gail and Giovanni are like
That
this
is-
big couple that they like to do. So
Yeah.
Yeah, stay away from those kind of.
Yeah.
it's cool though. I'll do it once I'm 100% healthy.
Right.
So what brought you to New York from Seattle?
Well, originally, I mean, it's always been stand-up. I came out here to pursue it, and then I moved to LA for like 6 years to just work on TV out there. And then I couldn't get a job for a while, so I came back because I wanted to kind of like get back into stand-up more than writing. I wrote for so many bad TV shows that it was just like I'd rather.
I love bad
Really?
TV shows.
Wow.
What kind
I'm
of-
sure you.
what-
I'm
what
sure
TV
you watched some of
That's
the bad
the
TV
what
shows,
best
shows?
TV
like
to watch.
Ridiculousness. I wrote
you
forever.
did?
Yeah, for like
man.
5 years.
So
You look like
he
you
has
hang
a
out,
crush
dude.
Yeah.
You look
on
like what's his
Chanel
name?
West Coast.
no.
Robin
On
Big,
Rob.
dude.
He loved
Oh,
Rob.
you
That
said
was
a
my
crush.
show.
He has a crush on him.
Well,
He
man
just-
crush.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
Rob's
love
cool.
those guys.
Big's dead too.
Yeah, Big's dead.
Just
What
delivering
is
all the
this
bad
shit?
news.
What?
You didn't know that?
People from
Is this
Seattle,
guy-
man. He just
Is this
fucking.
guy the fucking Grim Reaper?
Sorry, man. I didn't mean to bring you down like that.
Any other
Let's
dead
show
people
this
we're gonna
guy.
mention
I gotta go home.
on this episode?
I'll if they come up, I'll let you know.
Alright.
So comedy, like growing up as a kid, that's what you wanted to do, or you wanted to like
I
write
think-
a film or something?
I think I was like just a smart ass, and so I wanted to be a smart ass, and then I saw comedy one time, and I was like, oh, I'll do that, and that's about it.
So it was like, all right, I could do that. That's-
Yeah, I think I wanted to make movies originally. Like I was gonna like try to be like
Yeah.
a serious filmmaker, and then I was too much of a smart ass. So
But I think comedy is, for me, if you go into comedy and then you go into like more serious roles, is the best. I think people appreciate you more.
yeah,
Because you're more
Right.
vulnerable when you're doing sets and stuff.
That shit's
Like
yeah, a lot
awesome.
of serious actors were comics. Michael
Yeah.
Keaton was a stand-up comic.
Oh, he was.
Uh,
I didn't know that.
Eric Bana was like the biggest comedian in Australia.
No,
Yeah.
no
What?
way, Eric. The Hulk.
Yeah.
He doesn't look funny at
There's
all.
nothing funny about that guy.
I know.
He's like a handsome dude. Like,
It's like
Why is
Ben
he
Diesel
gonna
was
be-
a comedian.
how's he gonna
Was
be
he?
funny?
No, it's
People can be handsome and funny.
I don't know. Name two.
you can't be
Name
handsome,
one.
like brolic and funny. Like those things don't go together. You see me when I'm skinny,
You
I'm not
gotta-
funny anymore.
so these
When
two
I'm
guys-
chubby, I'm funny.
These
Maybe
two guys-
Jeselnik is kind of handsome guy. Anthony
Do you
Jeselnik.
remember like
This looks
like
creepy.
Jonah Hill when he's like fat? He's hilarious.
Yeah.
When he loses weight,
He makes-
he's not
he
funny.
makes sad
anymore.
movies,
It's
yeah.
fucked up, man.
Damn.
It's
People dying and people being overweight. Great. Great way
Yeah.
to start
This
this
is
day.
This is a great episode.
It's an awareness episode. You know? Heart health.
So what was your first set like, and where was it?
It was in Seattle. I was going to college like 90 miles north of Seattle, and there was no open mics, and I was like, I'm gonna go to an open mic, and I went there, and everybody sucked, and so I was like, okay, I can do this, and so the next night I went back, and I did it, and I don't really remember what I told jokes about. Like it was just all kind of a blur,
yeah.
but it was like right away. I did it every chance I got from then on. I've never stopped for more than maybe. I think I went to Colombia once for 2 weeks.
right.
That was the longest I've ever not done comedy since I started.
Oh, shit.
Colombia, the country? You were
Yeah.
doing?
Did you try any comedy in Colombia?
No, I don't know enough Spanish to do.
No, that would've been
I've
hard.
only done comedy in like Sweden. I think is the only other country I've done it that doesn't speak English, and they all speak English there. But they wait. There's a pause when they laugh because they translate it and then laugh.
Oh, so
wow.
that must throw you off. You're like, shit, did I just bomb on that joke? Or?
Yeah, it's very jarring.
So if the guy that's working next to you sucks, like if he doesn't know how to tell the joke, it's
No. They all speak English, so they're just. What I mean is they're just translating in their heads.
Yeah, they
Oh.
have to
Yeah.
like process it.
Oh, they're gonna. Yeah.
That's even worse. I thought it was like I saw.
Like a signer.
Yeah, I recently saw
thought
a
it was a
movie
person on the side
with
selling the joke.
Was that real sign language?
I thought it. Is
Was
that
that real
not
sign
what you-
language?
No.
Shit,
Oh,
what's the
no.
name? And he's a good actor too. Oh well, it was Chevy Chase and it was Richard Dreyfuss. They got a movie on Netflix, and they go to a country where Richard Dreyfuss is doing a set, and they have a guy translating it into Spanish.
Is it the Meyerowitz story or whatever?
I think it was that one. And there's that one scene. I was like, damn, that must suck. Somebody has to like translate. By the way, the best thing ever when the mayor or something and it's gonna snow is the person signing next to the mayor.
Yeah.
Wait,
Agreed.
what?
I don't know what we're
Well, I
talking
don't
You've
know
never
what we're
seen that on the
talking
press
about anymore.
conference?
Yeah. When
Oh,
they,
Emergency?
Okay. All right, now.
Okay.
citywide
Never mind.
emergency.
about.
They
So
have the signer.
speaking of
I don't watch
comics,
the news, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't watch the
that
news.
you gotta stay. That's why you don't know Big Rob is dead or whatever.
Yeah, you gotta pay
Big Black
attention.
is dead.
I don't believe that's true.
Paul
Where,
Allen
where,
is
do you,
dead.
where do you get your comedy from?
Your inspiration.
Your inspiration for
Just life. Just life. Just went through a breakup. I got a bunch of breakup material.
Yeah.
Dated a very mean Australian woman. So I got a bunch of jokes about Australian women.
Now, have any of these women seen
Yes.
set?
There was one girl.
Giving you
I had a
feedback.
joke that like my first TV set I ever did. I said that bringing a girlfriend to New York is like bringing a warm beer to a bar that serves free cold beers.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
And then everybody called her warm beer, and it was on TV.
Oh shit!
Ooh.
She saw that. I feel bad, but then she actually married like a famous movie star, and she really got me in the end.
Yeah, there you
I'll
go.
say that.
There you go.
Shout out to
But
you, Warm
still,
Beer.
warm beer. You're married to a
That's
famous,
a dope
but your
fucking
nickname is Warm Beer. So
She didn't. I don't think anybody called it to her face, but they'd always be like, "Oh, is that warm beer?" And I'd be like,
Oh.
"Yeah."
So it's like Taylor Swift. You like
Ooh.
Taylor Swift? Like
Mhm.
she gets fucking breaking up, and then she writes a
He's a
song.
Taylor
about-
Swift for
Do
comedy?
you?
Is
Yeah.
that-
Do
is
you
that
get
what
into
you-
relationships?
Is that what
Get
the fuck you
into?
just said?
Do you get into relationships or certain situations where you feel like, okay, something's good's gonna come out of this, like at the end?
Well, that's the problem. Is that all of the bad things that happen in my life, I can't actually like appreciate because I'm just like, well, that's like usually most normal humans would be sad,
Right.
but then I'm just like, well, this is probably gonna be a good bit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
So you're trying to say he gets into relationships to break up with women to get him material? Is that what you were gonna
That's
say?
what I understand.
No, I'm saying.
That's what I
he
was
thinks-
getting.
But I
he thinks,
definitely like if somebody's like a nightmare, I kind of enjoy it because I'm like, well,
Yeah.
this will be funny later on.
So you keep going with it.
Like when I write a TV show someday about being a comic in New York, I'm gonna definitely include that Australian woman
Right.
because she was really mean, like
What you mean?
outrageously
What
mean.
does?
I've
what
never
is-
met an Australian person, so
That's
You've never
Met an
met an
Australian
Australian
I
person, dude?
not that I'm 34 years. I don't know.
Crocodile Dundee,
I haven't met the guy in person. Like, oh, what's up? You know,
Eric Bana,
Eric
Russell
I've
Bana.
never
Crowe.
met Eric Bana.
Nicole Kidman.
I've never had the pleasure of being in the same room.
There's more. I can't think of them.
What's your name?
Naming
Thor.
fucking all Australians.
Thor. Yeah, there's
Who's
no
that?
way. Chris Hemsworth.
Chris
He's
Hemsworth.
Australian?
Yeah, him and his brothers.
Yeah, dude.
Liam is the other guy.
Ben Simmons.
Who? Ben
Ben
Simmons. There you go.
Simmons.
There's actually a switch. I was gonna tell you.
Australian.
The basketball player?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. They do like
Australian,
basketball. They always actually are like one of the in the Olympics. They're always kind of like in there.
Yeah.
It's like a light switch. It's right next to the speaker.
Whoa, time
I'm
out.
sorry because
Time
you
out,
know,
guys.
The no, it's okay. This is a video game. We're pressing time. Yeah, that one.
Ooh.
So Benny, the very sensitive and lovable one, Benny was apparently sweating and he was cold. He wanted to
I
heat
was
up.
sweating, so I wanted to heat up.
Alright.
It was fucking cold as shit
But
in
we
here.
can't record with the heat on.
All
So
right,
let's
yeah, we're recording
let's circle it back
now.
and let's pay attention to this.
Okay.
What's up,
Thank you.
Where were we?
Now everybody's cool.
Australians.
Mhm.
Australians and
Fuck
Andy being in a
Australians.
bad
I think that's what we're
relationship.
saying.
Yeah. Fuck Australians.
Yeah. Fuck 'em.
Yep.
Jesus.
I mean, you
See
literally
some
fucked
events.
Australians.
Yeah.
I guess you
You know,
still
see
at the
events.
end you still won.
Yeah.
You still won. I mean, not
Well,
only
she
did you
was,
get badass material, but
You still hit.
Yeah,
Still
still
hit.
hit.
Have you gone out and you told any of the material?
Oh yeah.
And it lands?
Some of it. It depends on the audience, but yeah.
Were you
Yeah.
paying attention? Like,
My
you
goal
just
though,
told the whole story.
I want it to be on TV though. Like I want to do a set on like a late night show so that it really has to just
Right.
sit with her.
Which show?
Fallon would be dope.
A family movie, though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the Fallon show, but the viewership, you know. Like,
Yeah,
I'd rather
yeah,
do Colbert,
I feel you.
but when you do Colbert, he's not there. You record, and then they just play your set later.
That's terrible.
Oh,
And I
that
love
sucks.
Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my
And
guy.
I love Conan too.
Oh, Conan's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
What's
What?
all right?
All right.
So what comics? What comics do you like? You know, Eddie Murphy, Bill Murray. Who do you look up to?
I mean, back when I started, it was like Bill Hicks, Chappelle, Louie CK.
Oh boy, that's this guy's favorite.
I loved Eddie
Wait.
Murphy. Yeah. Who else?
What you can't? Louis CK,
Seinfeld. Like I
okay.
loved everybody.
Yeah.
Seinfeld. I really like Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Like, low-key, isn't he?
I like him and Larry.
There's this
David.
guy Doug Stanhope who's like just a very dirty comic. I really liked him. But then it's kind of evolved. There's this guy Kurt Metzger who's amazing. He wrote for like the Schumer Show.
Right.
Hannibal is obviously amazing.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
Gerard Carmichael's great.
I love
Neil
Gerard
Brennan.
Carmichael.
I love
Neil
Amy.
Brennan.
I love Nikki Glazer. Michelle Wolf. Like, it's weird now because I
your
work at the
peers?
Comedy Cellar and
Right.
they're all I mean they're not my peers. Like they got they take PJs to the to the event. But I see them all the time. They know my name.
What's PJs? Because,
Private jet.
Private jets.
Because for us,
That's projects or
Projects.
pajamas.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, they
Yes.
don't take projects or pajamas. They might wear pajamas, but
you
I
were talking about
thought Hannibal Buress was doing a set of pajamas.
he could.
Like fuck,
He could if
I
he
live
wanted
down the
to.
block. I just
pajamas.
come down here and do my set.
He could.
So I've been to the which one is it? It's right next to the big fat
Fat Black Pussycat.
yeah.
That's the
it's
Village
just
Underground.
Village Underground.
Yeah.
That's and I don't know his name. He's a funny guy. He's on a TV show on NBC. Well, he used to be Shades of Blue with J-Lo. That's a nice little scene. You ever did a set on that one?
The Village Underground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there twice this weekend.
Hey,
Oh, wow. There we go.
shout out Village Underground.
What days?
Shout out. I am there Friday night at 1 a.m. and Sunday night at 10:55.
Pretty specific.
That's a very specific. Like,
Yep.
like Andy, you're going on
You're
at
on
10:55.
at
No, they
Do
literally
not be
say
here.
it's down to the 5-minute mark. Yeah.
Now, have you ever bombed on a set?
I've not bombed there because I'm too scared to bomb at the Comedy Cellar because it's like my dream to always play there.
Yeah.
But I've definitely bombed hundreds of sets. I've been doing this for 14 years every night. And a lot of times, people just don't like what you're talking about.
Right.
So
Or maybe they're not intelligent enough to.
that's what
Because
That's what
That's
you,
it.
That's what you
I've seen
You
a
gotta
bunch
tell
of your
yourself.
sets,
yourself.
and I thought they were hysterical.
Thanks, man.
And I also saw the one you did on YouTube where it's like you and your friend, and you're having a shot of.
Oh yeah, we have to take shots of gross stuff.
So basically, it's
Shout
two
out Gavin
shots, and like he's saying, I'm gonna call.
We give each other's phones,
Yeah.
and then we have shots of fish sauce or mayonnaise and honey, just really really gross
Disgusting.
stuff.
Right.
And then I'll say, I'm gonna text your ex-girlfriend, I miss you, and then he'll just take a shot because he doesn't want me to do that, and then
Yeah.
he'll text my manager that I'm scared and I'm standing on a roof or something like that. You know what I mean? And then I'll take a shot of tartar sauce or whatever gross thing,
That's a fucking.
So you gotta either
that's a
do the
good
shot-
game.
or take the text.
Do the shot or take the text.
That's a good. I thought.
What do you
that
guys call it?
So fucking dangerous.
It was like a
Just for
digital
laughs.
thing for this company called Just for Laughs, which is like a big festival in Montreal. Yeah.
And then I saw another Just for Laughs where you were talking about the difference between, like a racist. No, not a racist joke. I'm gonna fuck up the joke.
Yeah, you're
And
gonna.
this is joke, so let me not even say it.
Do not say the joke.
It
you're
was
gonna ruin
basically revolved around. You were like, oh, us white people have nothing to be oppressed, so we
Oh
depress
yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah, no,
So it's
our depression is white people's oppression.
Oppression.
We created our own because nobody else would keep us down. So that's what depression is.
Like,
And that shit made a lot of sense to me. I
Yeah.
was like, that explains depression.
We got too much time on our hands. Too much freedom.
And then you said you moved to LA.
Yep.
And you found out that that shit was just something
That was a Seattle thing, yeah. Yep.
I just thought
Depression is
were most of your friends in Seattle depressed? Is like
I thought
I feel like
everybody,
everybody's
everybody.
walking around depressed in Seattle.
I think
now.
a lot of people are depressed. I would say that depression, like, if somebody is like, you know, like when you'd see a friend and you'd be like, hey, what's wrong? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah.
wouldn't do that in Seattle.
No?
Like, I don't want to.
Yeah, because it's all like, so all the people that, like, the people that moved there, like in
Yeah.
the turn of the century, were all Scandinavian people, you know, like
Okay.
Swedish, Norwegian.
Yeah.
And they're just sad people, you know, they just walk around, just
Damn.
moping. Yeah, no,
Then you
seriously.
put them in this environment.
Yeah, and then it's not sunny, so they're already like sad, stoic people, and then
Yeah.
you put them in the dark, and they're just like,
Fuck this place.
nobody's ever been like, hey, you seem down to me in Seattle, not once. They're just like, oh, well, this is life,
Yeah. We're all down.
a wall-to-wall nightmare, you know. But
Sounds
yeah.
like a great place.
Yeah, no, it's nice in the summer. Oh, and also you can go skiing all winter. That's pretty fun.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
We get a lot of snow, world
Skiing
record.
and depressed people.
Skiing, depression,
That's how you beat
and
it.
mountains.
That's how you beat depression?
You gotta
Skiing?
do.
You
People in
gotta-
Seattle
you gotta
are
stay
so
active.
crazy is they do active stuff all year round. You'll see people like riding their bikes in torrential downpour. You know those people that like commute to work on
Yeah.
bikes and they'll have like the rain gear and you're
Yeah.
like, is it worth it?
No.
That is a very Seattle thing where you're like, why would you ride your bike to work? It's
No.
horrible out. And they're just like, I want to save the world.
Hey, isn't Nike based out? Or is that
Portland.
Portland.
Portland, Oregon, yeah.
It
But,
doesn't rain as much there.
Frasier is based in Seattle,
Yep,
is it?
Frasier.
Oh,
The
I
show?
love that fucking show.
Great show.
Shout out to Kelsey Grammer. Two
Yeah.
good shows.
Yeah.
Cheers and that one.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
fucking
cheers.
Shout out Kelsey Grammer.
Shout out my dog Kelsey Grammer. You know
Dude,
what I'm
I
saying?
hate.
My main dog.
Put one in the sky for Kelsey
Shut up.
Grammer.
Don't tell me he's fucking dead too.
No, Kelsey's alive.
What
Oh,
about his
There is
dad,
a very,
bro?
there is a very.
What
fun-
about his dad?
His dad might be dead. I know the dog is dead. Eddie is dead.
Oh,
oh shit.
Eddie is
fuck.
dead, you guys. Come on, that was 20 years ago.
Damn.
I thought he fucking lived forever like Lassie.
No,
Lassie's still alive, man.
Kelsey's career.
I'm not
Don't
gonna talk to
even
you
talk
about it.
about
Alright?
it.
Kelsey's very alive, but his career might be dead.
He's a conservative. That's why he hasn't
he
worked.
is?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's not
shit.
conservative.
Fuck Kelsey
But
Grammer.
I just saw a
What?
movie with him and I forgot her name.
Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a.
No, not a good one of those Netflix payday movies. you know?
What?
It was a movie, and when you don't have nothing to do,
Wait,
and that's the
Kelsey
last
Grammer
movie. Yes.
Was in a movie.
with Kristen
Kristen Bell.
Bell.
Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
Wait, this is recent?
Yeah. It was,
You know how there's those movies that'll just pop up on Netflix and you're like, who made that?
Yeah.
Like, who's the guy that, he's the guy that was in the most recent series, Pena, Michael Pena?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he made some movie, like End of the World movie, had all these crazy good actors in it, no advertisements, trash movie too. And you're just like, why did you make
Yeah.
that? And they're just like,
Yo.
well, we gotta make content.
we needed a, we
They're
needed
getting
a check.
paid.
Have
Yeah.
you seen the movie with Keanu Reeves, Knock Knock? It's
No,
an
but I
HBO
want to see
Is
it.
that the
Is
one?
it trash?
Wait.
That
What
is
is
what
it,
I just thought about.
Is
So-
it trash?
It's fucking garbage. It's the dumbest shit I
Yeah,
ever
he was just in between John Wick's, and he
like,
was
I
like,
just, yeah.
Does he look like John Wick in the movie? Does he have the
Yes.
same outfits
He
and
looks
everything?
Bro,
like,
John
it looks
Wick
like
is
John
Keanu
Wick.
Reeves.
But honestly, Keanu Reeves always looks like John Wick.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes
You're talking
he
about the
looks
man
like
that
Neo.
loves to look like a homeless man.
Yeah.
This
He
movie-
literally has an apartment in New York. He doesn't have like a mansion
Nah,
or anything.
I fucks with,
And he doesn't spend like he doesn't really care about the money.
I fuck with Keanu Reeves off like the
Oh.
story
He
about the
donated,
Matrix.
yeah.
You know that I think it was the crew that
He
did-
donated his check. The crew that was in charge, the company that was in charge of the special effects for the 3 films,
Like they didn't really.
they went bankrupt, and he donated his Matrix check to the whole company.
to like the employees.
Like his residual
Like,
matrix?
Well, he got paid to make the movie.
his salary.
I got a bunch of credit card
crazy.
debt. I need to talk to Keanu.
Yo,
Apparently, you're not hanging out in the Lower
Yeah.
East
Yeah, I
Side.
need
to
to
hang
go
out.
down there. Hey, what's up, Keanu?
yo, he's
Man, I
always in
bought
the
too
corner.
many Yeezys with the Amex. Do you want to help me out?
Get to know Keanu, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna go looking for him later.
Houston and Essex around there.
Okay, yeah, that's right. by my-
Damn.
I saw him on a fucking fucking bench there one time.
What?
Seriously.
Sleeping?
Like just
That's how,
like he just woke up. Like he was
That
just
is a
sitting there.
Keanu Reeves thing to do.
I mean, think about how lazy you'd be if you were that rich, though. I would never do
Why's
anything.
Keanu Reeves like,
Why would
He
you?
makes
why-
John Wick, and then he fucking sleeps on benches.
when he feels like it.
Somebody calls him, like, they're like, hey, there's a third one. And he's like, all right, when do I need to be there? That's it. He doesn't do, like, shirtless scenes. He doesn't have to hit the gym, you know?
That's true, man.
He's like 52, you know?
He looks
Somebody
good, man.
Google
That's
that.
what
We need to
happens when
find
you
out
have
what
no
it is.
stress.
he is 50.
Google that.
He also,
Google it.
I think he's, like, I think he's part Asian, too. I think that's what keeps him young.
Keanu.
Yeah, the
Asians don't age, bro.
Oh shit.
Let's skip over that one. It's not.
Crazy.
I don't know if that's
He's
true.
the PC
I don't
guy.
know if that's racist, actually.
I mean, I think it's not racist only because it like
positive,
benefits. Yeah, it's
you know
like a
what I mean?
positive racism.
Yeah.
So it cancels out when it's a positive thing. Like
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, like there's like a line.
so sometimes.
But that movie Knock Knock,
Trash.
trash.
Okay.
That's it. That's it.
So you keep saying it like
54?
I thought you were gonna
Keanu's
54.
54 years
Whoa.
old.
Shout out to the fountain
Damn,
of
he
youth.
looks good.
Hell
Maybe he
yeah.
is in the Matrix or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm definitely sure he believes you.
Oh, okay.
He's Hawaiian.
Keanu, if you are watching, I need 30K.
30K.
That's not shit to him.
Dude.
He spends that on a bench. You know?
Yeah.
In front of his apartment building.
He's like, we need new benches down here, and then he just drops it. Bloomberg. De Blasio.
Shout out wait, De Blasio. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shout
yeah.
out De Blasio.
So would you? Let me ask you a serious question, because especially in the climax that the country's in, climate. Thank you. This is the
I get it.
it's like autocorrect for the show.
Climax.
Now in the day and age that we live in, some comics are afraid to go there with certain jokes,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like the ones that do sometimes, like people might overreact sometimes, depending on how the joke was said. But I think comedy is like. My question is, how do you feel about that? I think comedy should have like what do you call that? Like clean slate. Like they're
Yeah.
comedians. They're supposed to try to make you laugh.
I think that I think a lot of people are too sensitive, but I also think that it's fine if they get offended, but like, like don't try to make somebody lose their job because you don't like a joke. Just don't enjoy, don't support them. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of comics who I think make horrible jokes, but I don't condemn them to not work. It's like it's different too. Like, there's the Me Too movement where it's like Louie CK's jerking off in front of women.
Right.
That's a little different than making a joke that's like, about special needs people or something that like offends somebody, right?
Right.
But I think in general, there's a huge culture right now of people being offended for offense sake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of white people that are offended by like a racist joke, but they don't know anybody of another race.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
They're like, when I went to school with, like Charnice in college, and you're like, are you friends? And she's,
We just took that one class,
Yeah.
but we're
Yeah.
and they're like, but I am in the Black Lives Matter movement, and you're like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's up to the comic, but you do have to be careful because like there kind of is. I mean, it's on both sides too, because like I'll make an offensive joke, and like Trump people will see it on Twitter, and they'll tell me that like I'm gonna die or whatever, and
Right.
that's
Wow.
the same kind of. Everybody wants to get angry now, and it's all just because of the internet,
Outrage.
Yeah.
Outrage culture.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I'm not afraid, but I have my own morals. I'm not going to make fun of like a trans person because they already got like a hard enough life, and also like I'm not trying to be a bigot, but I will make fun of like somebody that looks stupid.
Have you had someone at your show like, oh man, you went too far? Or
Yeah,
crossed
yeah,
that
yeah.
line?
I for sure messed up a bunch of times. One time I asked a guy what was wrong with him, and he was handicapped.
Oh, but you didn't.
I didn't know.
As a comic,
just,
you wouldn't know that.
He was just in the
Oh.
front row, and he was making a bunch of noise. And I was like, "What's wrong with you, man?" And then they were like, "He's got a thing." And I was like,
Oh,
Shit.
fuck. Why'd you bring him?
And in the front row, that's
Yeah,
where.
yeah, that was weird too.
Yeah.
But like I've noticed also that most of the people that have the hardest lives also have the best sense of humor. Like, I wanted to tell a joke about, like, the only time I'll actually pay attention to somebody being offended is, like, if it's a gay black kid. You know what I mean? Because, like, he's got enough problems that if I'm offending him, then that really means it's serious. You know what I mean? But, like, if, like, a white girl named Sarah gets offended, I'm not worried about it.
She'll be all right.
Yeah.
She'll be all right.
Her life is gonna be fine.
She's got a Dooney Burke purse, you know, she's going to Soul Cycle. She's A-okay.
Shout out Soul Cycle.
Yeah, shout out Sarah.
Sarah, wherever you are. So, what comics have you worked with, or?
Well, I used to open up for Jeselnik a little bit, and I used to open up for Pete Holmes a little bit.
Oh,
I love
shit.
Pete Holmes. by the
Yeah,
way.
he's a
Crashing is hilarious.
Hilarious dude. And then, I mean, I've been in the same room as everybody, Bill Burr and Louie CK and Chappelle, and I mean, the only comic I don't think I've ever seen in person that's like a big, huge name is Seinfeld. That's the only comic I've ever not met.
Wow.
And I actually moved to New York because of that documentary Comedian that's about
Comedian Cars
Seinfeld.
with,
No, it's like way back. It's like 2004, I think. It's just a documentary about being a comic in New York.
Wow.
But one time, I used to smoke a ton of pot. I used to be a huge pothead.
He used to, not anymore.
I haven't smoked pot for 4.5 years.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Damn.
But I was super stoned, and I was on stage at the Comedy Store, and I was just acting like a fool. Like, I was not being funny. Nobody was happy about it. And then the next comic I had to bring up was Chris Rock. It was very embarrassing.
Wow.
Yeah, they were.
So he went.
He was like, "What the fuck is that? What are you doing?" You know. That was it. Yeah.
So that's the opposite side. Was there a comic that you bumped into that was like, oh man, that joke was good. You killed it with that one. Or...
No.
Damn.
No. I mean, I've had a lot of comics have come up to me, but it's weird now. It's never really like, like Bill Burr's never taken me aside, or I'm trying to think, like, who's the biggest name to like give me like a Chris D'Elia's really nice. Like, he's been
like
complimentary.
Chris
Neil
D'Elia,
Brennan's been very complimentary to me. I think all of them. I mean, like, we're almost all the comics that are in the kind of mainstream are friendly with me.
Right.
But like, it's mostly my peer group. So there's a lot of people that are like, I came up a little bit with like Ali Wong. I came up with.
She's pretty funny too.
This guy Rory Scovel was like one of my best friends. He's got a Netflix special, one of the funniest human beings alive. He was in that last Amy Schumer movie where she I Feel Pretty. He's the love interest. That's Rory.
Oh.
But they're just my peers, but they're not like, I mean, Allie's probably like one of the most famous peers of mine. Nikki Glazer is like I'm friendly with her. We could text her right now. Do you guys want to text some people?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you fucking never asked.
He was dying to get it here.
Okay. Well, he's trying to get into your phone book?
Yes.
That'd be pretty sick.
Ali Wong's pretty
Who's the
bad.
most famous person in your phone book?
Ali Wong's bad.
Ooh, who is it? I mean, it's got to be one of the comics I've already mentioned.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Wait, you got Chris Rock in your phone
We're
book?
No,
not
I think
calling
Amy
Bill
Schumer is
Burr.
probably
Oh.
the most famous phone
We're
number
not
I have.
calling.
Yeah?
She's gonna be like, why are you calling me? Washington Heights and some decrepit podcast.
Just a drone hits us.
Yeah, just.
If you fuck with Amy Schumer, that's how famous she is. Oh, but shout out Amy Schumer. Her new special came out today.
And
Oh,
she's,
it did?
she's pregnant.
Yep.
Congratulations. Is she
She
pregnant?
is?
Let me check the day before.
She's pregnant. What did you say?
Is she
Fucking
No, she just got fat.
announcing-
She
No,
just got,
I
she
think
just
she
got
is
super
pregnant.
fat. She is pregnant.
She's pregnant. Okay,
Okay,
good.
Yeah.
Just check it.
Well, you guys got a lot of audience now.
Yeah, we do. I mean,
Yeah, more now. Yeah.
oh, we want to shout out Daniel, Rebecca.
Everybody,
Hello,
everybody,
everyone.
everybody knows.
It's our 25th episode, so it's like and it's the season finale of season 2.
Yeah.
Who knows if there'll be a season 3?
Oh my God, man.
Shut up!
I know, I definitely would not be.
Benny's pissed.
Benny's upset. No, there is a season 3.
Yeah.
And Justin's behind the. Justin, you want to come in and just show your face just one time, please? No?
Justin's like, bro, you're
No?
ruining my shot.
No?
Justin,
At the end, he'll come in. Okay.
You're
Paul's
ruining
not here.
my
He wanted to
shot.
be here, but he'll be there.
All right,
Shout out Paul.
Shout
Yeah.
out Paul.
Paul is he works with me. He's
that's
Filipino,
We
so
don't
he's
talk about him.
Oh, my roommate's Filipino.
yeah.
Word?
Yeah. Shout
Dope
out
people.
Wilfred.
Shout out
Hey,
There you go.
Wilfred.
Kelsey Grammer.
Fuck you.
Shout out Kelsey Grammer, Filipinos,
One time.
and Sarah.
Including
Yeah.
Sarah.
You know where she
Oh
at.
yeah.
Are you currently working on a film or
I'm working on a. I'm trying to write a show. I've been a mover in New York on and off for like my whole time here. It's just like a good job. Like you can just make a lot of money very easily, and it's all cash. And so when you're like not on the road or you're not in a writer's room, it's just like I can always go to this company and just make a lot of money. But I've been a mover on and off for like 10 years, and I've seen craziness around New York, and I think it's like a good way to see New York. So I'm trying to write something about that.
Wait, so you move people? Like
I still do, yeah.
I fucking hate movies.
It's horrible, yeah. What a nightmare. I chose the arts.
Oh
you know?
my god.
But you must pick up some good material.
Yeah, and I mean like it's like most artists in New York have to like supplement it until they get famous. But I mean like sometimes I'll get a writer's room and I don't have to work for like 8 months, you know, so it's like
So for our audience who's not very intelligent, no, I mean not this audience, the audience inside the camera. What does writer's room? What does writer's room
when I'm
mean?
in a writer's room? So like
Yes.
when you make a television show, you go and usually they're in Los Angeles. There's a couple shows that have rooms in New York, and you just sit in a room and write a show for a couple months. Like Miss Maisel, the marvelous Miss Maisel, that's in New York. And
Is that even good? I mean, everybody
yeah, I
keeps
like
talking
it,
about
but I don't know. I mean, it's about comedy, so I kind of like it. But like the shows I wrote for, other than Ridiculousness, I wrote for a really bad sitcom, and
Which one? I love
He's not gonna.
you're not gonna like it. It's
Terrible.
called Ground Floor. It was horrible.
Ground Floor.
I wrote for World Star.
Hey!
The World Star show that was on MTV
Shout
too.
out World
That was a World Star show? On
Yeah,
MTV?
it was really bad.
Yeah.
And but then I wrote a cartoon this last year for Bleacher Report called The Champions, and it was about the Champions League,
Yeah.
and that was here. Somebody watched it?
I've seen it.
Just
Nice.
You see?
Yeah, I got fired. But it was a good show. Yeah.
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah. I was too problematic, you know. Always pulling my dick out.
Damn.
My favorite comic, CK. What can I do? You know. That's why. I also like that he does comedy. No, I'm kidding.
Do you
sorry.
think it's fair that CK lost 15, 20 million?
We're not gonna talk.
We can talk about it. I think that
I just want to like I don't
the best thing that the best thing I think I've heard about it was Tig Notaro, who blew up his spot for good reason, said, would you let like a guy be a plumber again if he like pulled his dick out in front of his coworkers? You would be like, no, you don't get to. Or like the janitor, right?
I mean,
like you wouldn't be
right.
like, all right, you jerked off once in front of everybody.
We're gonna
back
let
in
it slide
here,
this
you know.
one time.
I mean, if you're talking about like the Board of Education, probably.
Yeah, but I mean, he's also, you know, he always said he was a dirtbag, and I still think he's really funny. But I mean, that's up to. I'll watch his set, but I don't have to pay for his set. You know what I mean?
Netflix.
So you don't think Louis deserves like? I mean, he had besides the 3 shows he already had. I think he was producing another show, and he got dropped out of all of that. So he
Yeah.
lost a ton of money, and I think he's trying to make a comeback, but
I think he did it wrong. Like you gotta, he just tried to come back in. I think he needed to like sit down with like Sarah Silverman or Tig or somebody like that, and I think he needed to like be grilled,
Right.
you know, and like have a like actual like show of penance, you know, like
Right.
be like, hey, I really messed up. I'm trying to do these things. I'm gonna donate this money to this.
Right.
I want to change my ways, but instead he just like didn't
was
really
like, fuck
speak
it.
on it, and then just tried to come back like nothing had happened.
Yeah. But he doesn't
true.
seem like he's not really sorry. So if he apologizes or he comes out, it's not gonna be sincere. So I just feel like he just feels like.
I
why
mean,
do
I
have
think
to
he's
do
probably
this?
sorry. I mean, I
I'm
think he
sure
must
he's-
feel some shame about
Yeah,
that. You
I'm
gotta
sure
feel
he's-
pretty.
I mean,
I don't know. After jerking
I'm
off in
sure
front of a
he's
few
sorry.
chicks,
He's got
I don't-
daughters.
you don't give a
I'm
shit.
sure he's sorry.
I'm pretty sure you don't give a shit.
Nah, he got
No,
daughters.
he's
I'm
got
sure
kids.
He's sorry. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Sure.
Like it infected his family.
And the
It's just
people that are close with him, I don't know a lot of. Like I don't know him personally, but like the people that he keeps company with are all very good people. So
Right.
like people must know him better than I do.
Right.
But I mean, he must have like. He's a pervert, you know. Like he's got a. he got a thing.
Everybody
you
got
know?
a thing.
Fucking
Damn.
That shit's up.
It's like, you know, MJ's music's still good, but now we know. You know?
Yeah.
Damn.
Sorry.
I don't know
That
why I
is
go
it,
there,
man. Why
but-
you
Sorry,
gotta go there,
sorry,
bro?
guys.
Damn.
Hey, you guys, Michael Jackson's dead too. Just so you know.
Fuck.
I
I mean, I knew that one,
don't know
but
if you knew that.
I knew that one, but
Yeah.
I didn't want
Did
to.
you
Still
get that
hurts.
text?
I didn't-
You guys-
Still hurts.
Okay. A doctor. It was a lot of okay.
I didn't want to hear it.
So now that we're talking about, how about R. Kelly?
Yeah, let's talk about all the sex
Let's
allegations.
get into it. Again?
Well, he got arrested again?
I haven't really followed the R. Kelly thing. That was like a little too.
Yeah.
There was too much, you know.
I think
Yeah.
the
His
funniest
fans
thing,
keep bailing him out. That's the craziest.
No, that's actually facts.
Really?
Crazy, yeah.
the lady that bailed him out,
Two people.
put her house
Like,
for
hardcore
collateral.
fans.
That's game right there.
Hell yeah.
You got game if a woman's gonna sell her house so you don't have to sleep in jail.
That's
Like
right. It's not
3
even like
mortgages
that's
on
it.
her
It's
house.
over. It's just so he can not have to be in jail while they figure out the
Yeah.
trial.
He's going away.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to jail.
Would you still separate the artist from the art? I guess that's what I was gonna go.
I
to.
mean,
with,
like,
with Louie CK,
yeah. With Louis, I think it's a little different because
he didn't keep women enslaved.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it seems like it was kind of in that gray area. I think he really messed up, but I don't know. But like, you know, Michael Jackson's a little different. But the messed up thing is he made such good music that we still, like, if a song comes on, we don't go like, oh no, it's a molester. We go like, this fucking bops. You know?
I don't give a shit, man.
Dude,
And also,
Nobody is going to
Wait.
fuck up Remember the Time for me.
yeah,
Nobody.
exactly.
Nobody's going to fuck that up for me.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Oh, shit.
So that's where I'm at with R. Kelly. Like if I listen to an R. Kelly record, I automatically associate.
I Believe I Can Fly. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
Fuck,
like
man,
that.
that's a good song.
Yeah.
That was my graduation song.
That's inspirational.
That's also another thing.
That's
like,
part of my
there's a-
fucking history.
There's a lot of people that were like, "Yo, this is the song for
Yo.
graduation. It's gonna
I
inspire
mean,
a
but like,
generation."
what's like, we don't know anything. Like, you know, like Leonardo da Vinci might have, like, you know, jerked off in front of nuns or
Yeah, I'm
something.
sure.
You know?
I'm sure he did.
We
I'm
don't
sure
know.
Leonardo da Vinci
You know,
was a
like-
fucking pervert. I don't know why. but I'm
Picasso
sure he
was
was.
definitely.
Johann
Yeah.
Johann Sebastian Bach maybe like grab girls' butts in the
Yeah.
fucking market or whatever. You know?
Listen,
If only we could go back
I'm
in
with you on
time.
that.
That's a great time travel show. It's,
And all these
That
guys are
would be
dead, though,
it's
right?
time travel. Me too. We're like,
Yeah.
Sebastian Bach is canceled. You know. And, yeah.
Hey, that'd be a dope, like, To Catch a Predator.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, like,
Back in time.
Castle.
yeah.
And they're like, why were you talking to this 13-year-old? And he's like, she's my wife. What are you talking about?
Hey, didn't Chris Hansen get arrested recently?
Yeah, he did.
No!
But not for pervert. It was
Oh,
for tax
okay.
fraud. I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
for like
Thank
Yeah.
God.
Damn,
like fraud or some shit.
your news cycle's all fucked
But
up.
that would be dope if
That
one
would
of the
be
molesters
funny.
was like, "Excuse me, do you know why I'm here?"
You like work for the IRS or some shit?
Yeah.
Chris, please have a seat.
That's pretty.
Damn, this is a show about other comedians.
Yeah. It's,
Comedian, bro.
they're more interesting.
We'll talk about comedy.
So,
Yep.
go ahead.
Go.
Go ahead.
What got you into
Don't
going?
interrupt me.
Dude, just
Don't
go.
interrupt me, man.
Go ahead.
How was LA?
LA's nice. It's, you know, like it's
You guys thought I was gonna ask like a really good question, but
LA's great, but it's also like very slow. So if you are not busy in LA, you are not doing a lot of stuff. Like people will be like, "Oh, today I have to go to Target and then I have to go hiking." And you're like, "That sounds great," you know?
strenuous.
Like in New York, like you gotta I gotta catch the train for an hour to come up here, and then I gotta go do 3 shows, and then tomorrow I gotta work in the morning, and like people, you know, it's just a different speed of life. It's really nice, but I was unemployed for like a year, and it drove me crazy because I'm like an anxious person, and you'd be like, I'm anxious, and everybody would be like, just relax, man. And you're like, I can't, you know. So I like New York more. Also, it's just easy. You can just get on a train, go to a museum, get on a train, go to a show, restaurants, stuff's open late, you know.
What's your favorite New York thing to do?
My favorite New York thing to do is to go and put on my iPod and my iPhone,
I was gonna say
to get my
Apparently, he did go back
to
in
get
time.
I get my iPod shuffle and no, I like to go just walk around because you can just go to all the museums and you can just be like,
Right.
they're like, this is how much it costs, and you go, I'm not gonna pay anything, and they're like, all right, give it. So I'll just put on, you know, music, and I'll just walk around the Met, or I'll walk around the Natural History Museum. I love like the more, like, you know, just like an egg sandwich, you know, just a very New York
Right.
simplistic things, you know. That's what I like about this city.
Bagels.
Egg on a bagel?
Nope. Toasted wheat bread, egg, hot sauce, cheese. Yeah.
Little coffee.
Okay. I'm
Little
getting
coffee.
hungry now.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
He made me think about like a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I'm starving now.
Lightly toasted.
I'm
some butter.
vegetarian though. So
Oh, you're right.
Damn.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, how do vegetarians feel about eggs? Because it comes.
Vegans don't like them.
That's a vegan.
Vegetarians eat.
Is it?
Yeah, but I eat fish too, so I'm not even technically a vegetarian.
So why are you a vegetarian?
Because one time I was making a burger and I was like, if like a cow got hit by a truck, could I just like reach in there and just.
Yeah, probably.
And it just, I couldn't go back.
Damn.
But I've like eaten meat a couple times. Like I like
Right.
trekked through Central America, and like some people killed a goat for me, and I was like, I love goat, you know, like
Well, we're from the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
And
DR.
Don't kill the
DR.
chicken in your face, and
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
got
I killed one. I was 4 years old and they slaughtered a
I
goat.
support that. Yeah, I support
But the
that.
goat was delicious, by the way. And I'm not traumatized, as you can see. Very successful.
Yo, but what if a fish got hit by a truck?
If
That's
a
what I was
fish-
thinking.
That'd be weird. That'd be weird if a fish got hit by a truck. I don't know. I've never met a fish I liked. You know?
That's fucking true.
But I've like gone up to a fence and the cows walked over and been like, and I'm like, oh, you nice ass cow, get over here.
I see that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Fuck
I
fish.
can see that now.
And fish is, I'm from Seattle. I mean, we got like halibut and salmon just jumping out of the water, getting hit by trucks.
Really? That's interesting.
Damn. No, it
They
really.
just
all the-
jump and they fucking.
Well, all
commit
the
suicide?
all the seafood in the United States comes from Alaska, and then
Really?
it goes straight to Seattle, and then it gets shipped out. I mean, not all of it. Like shrimp and crab are all from the Caribbean.
Is it because it's always raining there?
No,
No,
the ocean.
What the
Yeah, I
fuck does
think-
the rain have to
I
do
think
with
the
the
ocean-
No, he said it's raining 90% of the time.
Oh, you know
over
what? It actually probably is because the salmon come from the rivers, and the rivers are because of the rain. So yeah, you're right.
there.
Have you been to Alaska?
I have.
Oh,
Is it
shit.
beautiful out there? I mean, my favorite show is like
It's
the Bush.
terrifying. It's terrifying.
It seems
It's
scary.
very wild, and the people that you meet in Alaska, you're like, I wouldn't trust you. Like, they're crazy people. They're out there by themselves. I met a lot of people that were like, I haven't seen somebody for 4 months, and you're like,
Oh,
"Hey."
whoa. Who have you been talking to?
Yeah, yeah. I'm on my way. All right. Yeah.
No,
So how do they react when they see you?
I won't do that.
I mean, I was in a town, but you just see stuff. Like I remember we were hiking over a mountain, and the guide guy looked like a whole mountain away, and he saw a grizzly bear, and he was like, everybody stop and get behind something. We're gonna sit here because the grizzly bear could see us from the other mountain and would be able to catch up with us before we could get to safety.
Fuck.
I didn't know bears were that fucking
A
fast.
grizzly bear can run 45 miles an hour uphill.
Nah.
Uphill?
Uphill.
I'm good.
Dude, I don't fuck with bears.
Yeah.
I don't
do not
fuck with anything that's bigger than me. That's why I eat fish, chicken.
There's some dogs that are bigger than you, bro.
I don't mess with dogs, bro.
A cow's bigger than
I'm
you.
not but you know what? A burger's
But
too.
they break it down.
It's too delicious.
Also, I bet you could take a cow.
You could take
Yeah.
a cow,
Like, you
dude.
just
Maybe.
elbow it
Yeah.
in the throat.
I think it'll end up like that scene in Tommy Boy.
Oh wait,
Come house.
today this
Knock
really
the cow
happened.
over.
I was driving on the Deegan. I was coming down south, and like right before Yankee Stadium, there was a cow on the Deegan. It had like fallen out of a truck, and like 5 cops were fighting the cow.
Get the fuck
What?
out.
I'm not lying. Look it up on the
Look
news.
this
That's
up.
awesome.
I need that clip.
I wonder.
I swear to you.
I will put that clip up for us.
I hope somebody stuck their phone out because I was like, this
Well,
is
this day
one of
and
the
age,
best
they
things
have-
that I saw.
It's like the guy with the construction beam trying to get it into the train.
Oh yeah, yeah,
There was like 70 videos of that.
yeah.
People do crazy shit
I've
nowadays.
never seen that shit.
Welcome to New York.
I've never
So
seen that.
this weekend, you said you're gonna be at.
Yeah, Friday night I'll be at the Village Underground for the Late Show. Sunday night I will be at New York Comedy Club and the Village Underground again, and then I'm at the Comedy Cellar on Thursday.
That's,
So,
I like that spot.
but I got other spots. You can go to my calendar. It's imandyhaynes.com.
You can
And
check
that's
your
also
calendar.
his
My
Instagram.
calendar's on there. Yeah.
Does it tell you
That's
like
it.
where you're gonna be for lunch? stuff like that?
One time it was messed up, and it did have all of my business on there. It was like doctor's appointment.
Only
names
you would
for,
be
like-
thinking like, damn, I'm gonna look.
I mean, I know my calendar.
He said his calendar.
It's a separate Google Calendar.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
with just shows.
Good.
He's got a personal.
But if somebody wants to kick my ass, it's very easy to find. It's very, very
I
easy
think
to
that's what I'm
find.
getting at. If anybody wants to kick Andy's
Yeah,
ass,
if you want to kick my ass, yeah.
his calendar.
Real thing.
It's a real, yeah.
Yeah,
he
I thought he was
exists.
lying.
About
This is
what?
a real guy.
I had to fact
Like,
check.
he really-
Wait.
Yeah, the cow.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were looking for his calendar. I was like, damn, how obsessed are you with the man?
No, I do have to put my calendar. It's part of my job. You gotta know where to find me. So, yeah.
That's pretty sick.
So, Andy, what are you working on? Like, this is the stupid, like,
What's next?
what's next? I hate that question.
I want to sell a show about being a New Yorker. Like I said, about being a mover in New York. Trying to do a new comedy album or special. Just touring, you know. I'm going to go out to LA in about 3 weeks. Going to do shows there, San Diego, Las Vegas, and Seattle.
Nice.
And then I'll be up in Canada this summer. And then I'm probably going to be in Europe
Hanging
for
out
part of
with
the
Drake.
summer, too.
Toronto.
I would love to hang out with Drake, but he lives in Calabasas now.
Oh,
Oh,
you
shit.
see? So
Shout
why is he
Shout
so
out
excited?
Calabasas.
He's not the sixth god no more.
Australia?
What's that? I'm staying clear of Australia.
I'm Australian.
I don't know.
No more Australian.
Fuck
Yeah.
Australians except what's the guy's name? The crocodile
Chris
guy?
Hainsworth.
Paul Hogan.
Paul Hogan, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck all them. except
He's
for-
alive, right?
Oh, that's
Fuck
deep.
Chris.
Paul Hogan is alive, you guys.
Oh,
Oh, the other guy,
Thank
Steve
Thank
Irwin
goodness.
is the
Steve
one.
Irwin is
Rest
dead,
in
yes.
peace.
Rest
There
in
you go.
peace, my G.
So I want to thank Andy for feeling crazy. I knew it was dead and it was alive.
Okay.
If you want to watch more of his stuff on YouTube, Just for Laughs, there's a lot of Just for Laughs.
Yeah, just
videos.
type in my name, Andy Haynes,
Andy
Haynes.
Check out his
Yeah.
calendar.
Check out
Check
his
out my
calendar.
calendar. Come kick my ass.
Egg sandwich.
Not that hard to find.
He
on
likes
that.
egg sandwiches with hot sauce and cheese.
Yeah, shout out Kelsey Grammer. You
Kelsey
know.
Grammer.
Kelsey
Yeah.
Grammer.
Come on the
Pour,
show.
pour one out for Kelsey.
I love him.
Come on the show, Kelsey.
Come on, Kelsey.
And bring that other guy. I don't know what's his name.
What?
Niles.
Niles is
He was the
hysterical.
fucking man of that shit.
Yeah,
He backed up that other chick that remember the girl that was like taking care
This
of.
guy's a David Hyde Pierce stan. That's amazing. That's
So
great.
you guys don't remember that he like
Yeah, he
winds
backs up
bagging
the.
up the
Roz.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Roz.
Yeah.
no, not Roz.
Oh, the British chick.
The
The
British girl.
Oh,
The
Daphne,
British
She
right?
was
Yeah.
fucking bad as
Yeah,
hell.
she was bad.
She was bad. Shout out Daphne.
Uh-huh. Wherever you are.
He's a bit.
She's. Why are you dying, bro?
She's bad.
He's
I'm talking about him.
He did
Somebody
shout out
say-
David Hyde Pierce, which is
Shout out David Hyde Pierce.
Have you seen a
Kelsey-
picture of David Hyde Pierce?
Kelsey
Yeah, I
Grammer.
know who David Hyde
Oh,
My boy from the hood, David Hyde Pierce.
from the Heights.
You know what I'm saying?
David
Kelsey-
Heights Pierce.
David.
Andy, thank you for
Yeah,
coming.
thank you, guys.
You catch him this
Appreciate it.
weekend. Underground Village.
Village Underground.
Village Underground.
Yeah.
This is the Rick H. Show.
Yeah, whatever.
Fuck Australia.
Yeah, marvelous. Okay. Yeah, I'm on my Frank Lucas shit. 3-piece suits, Valentino cufflinks, LV shoes. I bring the shorty closer, just enough to feel the gun on the holster. Out on the balcony, feeling on the breeze. City skylines, we're puffing on some trees. Cup of Henny on the rocks with the soda. Maybach, front of the building with the chauffeur. And he waiting on me, got umbrella in his hands and my name in the seats. No gift, baby, no thanks, no chinchillas, baby. So what happened to Frank? No phone calls, transactions hand in hand. Give the drugs to Rick, the money to Benny Banks. Talk to Craze and he talks to me. Keep my business out the streets. It's the ART.